Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The Golden State Warriors find themselves at a crossroads with Jonathan Kuminga, a young talent whose future with the franchise has been a topic of intense speculation throughout the offseason. Despite widespread rumors of potential trades and offers from other teams, the Warriors appear to have reached a firm decision. Kuminga will remain with the team for the upcoming season. This development comes after a series of tentative sign and trade discussions that ultimately failed to produce a satisfactory deal for Golden State, leaving the organization to reconsider their approach with the promising forward. Kuminga's situation has been anything but straightforward. Entering restricted free agency, both the player and the Warriors expressed a desire to part ways. Kuminga's aspirations and the team's strategic plans seemed misaligned, prompting the search for a sign and trade arrangement that could send him to a team willing to offer the kind of role and contract he seeks. However, as time passed, it became clear that no deal met the franchise's standards or expectations. Sources close to the team have revealed that the Warriors engaged in these talks with little enthusiasm, signaling an underlying reluctance to move him unless the return was truly valuable. The figure at the helm of the Warriors front office owner, Joe Lacob, has made it clear that he sees real potential in Kuminga. Lacob's commitment to the 22-year-old forward has been unwavering, and he prefers to either keep Kuminga on the roster or secure a trade that provides substantial value in return. This stance has contributed to the team's patience in navigating the offseason, signaling a willingness to wait out offers that do not align with their long-term vision. With this mindset, the window for trading Kuminga appears to have closed, at least for now, cementing his place on the Warriors roster heading into the next campaign. The potential return of Kuminga to Golden State raises important questions about how the coaching staff led by Steve Kerr plans to integrate him into the team's system. Kuminga's on-court performance last season was a mix of promise and inconsistency. He averaged 15.3 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game across 47 appearances, shooting just over 45% from the field. While these numbers reflect his ability to contribute on both the ends of the court, his shooting from beyond the arc hovered at around 30.5% and free throw accuracy at 66.8% leaves room for improvement. For the Warriors, maximizing Kuminga's skill set will be crucial, especially if they commit to a contract worth roughly $20 million annually. From the player's perspective, returning to Golden State might not be the most appealing option. Kuminga has had a complicated relationship with the coaching staff and has openly sought a fresh start elsewhere. Yet the lack of a compelling trade offer means that he may have little choice but to sign a one-year qualifying offer valued at $7.9 million, or accept the Warriors' proposed deal to stay. This scenario puts the onus on Kuminga to prove his worth in what could be a make-or-break season for his career. It also places pressure on the Warriors to find a role that not only leverages his physical talents, but also fosters his development and motivation. Beyond the immediate tactical considerations, the Kuminga saga sheds light on the broader dynamics of NBA roster management and contract negotiations. Restricted free agency can often lead to complex situations where the player's desires, team strategies, and market realities collide. In Kuminga's case, the Warriors' cautious approach highlights a delicate balance between nurturing young talent and managing salary cap space. Holding on to Kuminga for another season could be seen as a strategic move to maintain control over his rights while hoping for a breakout performance that increases his trade value or solidifies his place as a key contributor. Meanwhile, other teams such as the Sacramento Kings and Phoenix Suns expressed interest in Kuminga, reportedly offering sign and trade deals. The Kings, for instance, proposed a 3-year, $63 million contract for the forward, which would have brought Malik Monk and a future first-round pick back to Golden State. Despite the seemingly attractive package, the Warriors' hesitation to accept these offers underlines their broader strategy. They are not willing to part with Kuminga for anything less than what they consider real value. This approach reveals a long-term vision focused not just on immediate gains, but on maintaining flexibility and potential for future moves. Kuminga's journey from being the 7th overall pick in the 2021 NBA draft to his current status reflects both his raw talent and the challenges of adapting to the professional game. His career averages so far 12.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per game indicate a player with the tools to grow but still searching for consistency and impact. The Warriors' faith in his ability suggests that they believe Kuminga can evolve into a crucial piece of their roster if given the right environment and opportunities. At the same time, the uncertainty surrounding Kuminga also highlights the competitive nature of NBA rosters and the constant pressure players face to deliver results. For a team like the Warriors, who have built a dynasty around stars like Stephen Curry, integrating a young player with potential yet unmet expectations requires careful management. Coach Steve Kerr will have to balance rotations and playing time, all while fostering a culture where Kuminga feels valued and motivated to improve. This offseason drama around Kuminga also unfolds against the backdrop of Stephen Curry's continued dominance and evolving career. Curry, regarded as the greatest shooter in NBA history, recently spoke candidly about his wealth and legacy, emphasizing that his focus lies beyond just financial success. With endorsements and investments that far exceed his on-court earnings, Curry represents a model of how modern athletes can leverage their fame and talent into lasting influence. His presence in Golden State adds another layer of complexity to the team's roster decisions as the Warriors aim to surround their star with complementary pieces who can thrive alongside him. In essence, the Warriors' choice to retain Jonathan Kuminga signals a moment of both patience and potential recalibration. The coming season will serve as a crucial test for the young forward and the franchise's ability to harness his talents effectively. With the weight of expectations, contract considerations, and team chemistry all at play, Golden State stands at a fascinating juncture where strategic foresight will determine whether Kuminga becomes a cornerstone of their future or a player who eventually moves on in pursuit of a better fit. The story of Kuminga and the Warriors is far from over, and the next chapters promise to be filled with drama, growth, and perhaps unexpected twists as the NBA landscape continues to evolve. The challenge now for both Jonathan Kuminga and the Golden State Warriors lies in bridging the gap between potential and production. This isn't just about numbers or contract figures. It's about trust, role clarity, and development, something the Warriors haven't consistently provided for the 22-year-old forward. In many ways, Kuminga has been caught in the middle of an identity shift within Golden State, a team that is trying to walk a tightrope between honoring the final years of the Stephen Curry era and building for the future. That's a difficult task, and players like Kuminga often become collateral in that process. He's too talented to ignore, but hasn't quite earned the kind of unshakable role that forces the coaching staff to build around him. Last season, Kuminga showed flashes of brilliance, especially when given extended minutes. He had stretches where his athleticism overwhelmed defenses, where he looked like a two-way force in the making, attacking the rim with power and defending multiple positions with raw energy. But those moments were often short-lived. There were nights when he disappeared not because of effort, but because of the lack of a defined role. At times, he was parked in the corner, offensively minimized in schemes that favored more seasoned players. That kind of inconsistency in usage can stunt a young player's growth, especially one as dependent on rhythm and confidence as Kuminga. There's also the complex layer of his relationship with Steve Kerr. While neither side has gone fully public with grievances, it's clear that the chemistry between coach and player hasn't always been smooth. Kerr, a coach who prioritizes system and spacing, often favors players who move the ball quickly, read defenses, and make the right play within the flow of the offense. Kuminga, on the other hand, thrives on isolation, quick decisions, and high-risk, high-reward actions. It's not that Kuminga is incapable of fitting into Kerr's system, it's that he hasn't yet been empowered to do so in a way that highlights his strengths. If the Warriors are serious about keeping him, that has to change. The front office can't treat Kuminga as a placeholder or a trade chip with diminishing value. They've now committed, at least for the short term, to his presence on the roster. That means Kerr and his staff will need to prioritize his growth not as an afterthought when veterans rest, but as a legitimate piece of the nightly rotation. They'll need to build lineups where his speed and athleticism can be assets, not liabilities. They'll need to give him real usage in meaningful moments, not just garbage time minutes or starts when half the roster is injured. And the truth is, Golden State desperately needs fresh energy. The core of Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green has accomplished everything there is to accomplish in the league, but that trio is aging. Their minutes need to be managed. Their roles, while still essential, cannot carry the same load as they once did. That opens the door for players like Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Brandon Podziemski to step in and reshape the team's identity. If Kerr can make that transition work while still keeping the veterans engaged, the Warriors might have one last window to be a contender while setting themselves up for a smoother future. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. Kuminga has his own responsibilities in this situation. The onus isn't just on the coaching staff. It's on him to adapt, to mature, to embrace the challenge of becoming more than just a highlight reel. His shot selection needs refinement. His defensive discipline has to improve. He has to be willing to do the dirty work when the offense isn't flowing through him. Because if he wants to earn a contract in the $20 million per year range, he needs to prove he's not just potential, he's production. The NBA doesn't pay long-term for glimpses. It rewards reliability, impact, and consistency. And then there's the financial dimension to all this. The Warriors are facing one of the most complicated salary cap situations in the league, with massive deals already on the books, Curry's Supermax Green's contract, and whatever happens. With Thompson, the front office is under immense pressure to spend wisely. They can't afford to invest heavily in players who don't deliver. So even if Lacob is a fan of Kuminga's sentimentality, won't override the cap sheet. If Kuminga accepts the qualifying offer and becomes an unrestricted free agent next summer, Golden State might lose him for nothing if they fail to showcase his value this season. That makes this year critical not just for his development, but for the Warriors' ability to recoup investment, whether through performance or future leverage. It's also worth considering how the league views Kuminga. Around the NBA, there's a recognition of his physical gifts, length-bound strength, but also uncertainty about his basketball IQ and fit within winning systems. That's why the market hasn't materialized the way he and his representatives may have hoped. Teams like Sacramento and Phoenix showed interest, but even their offers came with caveats. Sacramento's proposal involving Malik Monk and a distant future pick wasn't enough to entice the Warriors. That's not necessarily an indictment of Kuminga's value. It might be more of a reflection of how hard it is to trade young players on the verge of big paydays when the league is cautious about future spending under the new CBA. Internally, Golden State may be calculating that the best way to boost Kuminga's trade value is to play him to showcase his ability in real minutes and to build a stronger market next offseason if they still choose to move on. But there's a risk there. 2. What if he underperforms? What if his presence clashes with other pieces? What if the team stumbles early and pressure mounts to shake things up? The Warriors are operating in a pressure cooker of expectations. Every decision has ripple effects, and Kuminga's situation is a perfect example of how fragile the balance can be. And while the media spotlight often gravitates towards stars like Curry, this next season will say a lot about how the Warriors handle their depth, their youth, and their future. If they're serious about a post-Curry transition, then Kuminga should be a central part of that plan. He offers something no one else on the roster does: explosive athleticism, defensive versatility, and scoring upside. Those are not tools to ignore, but they're also not guarantees. Development is not linear, and potential without opportunity turns into frustration fast. There's also the psychological angle to consider. For a young player who was the 7th overall pick, bouncing between trade rumors and inconsistent playing time can take a toll. If Kuminga is going to take the next step, he'll need support from within, teammates who believe in him, coaches who challenge but also nurture, and a fan base that's willing to ride the waves of his growth. That environment matters. Golden State has built a culture of accountability and excellence, but also one that can be hard on players who don't fit neatly into their established mold. Still, there's a window here, a narrow but real chance for Kuminga to redefine his narrative, not just as a trade chip, not just as the guy who might leave, but as a legitimate piece of the Warriors' evolution. It won't be easy. There will be growing pains. But the opportunity is there. The question is whether both sides are willing to commit fully to the process. For the Warriors, that means investing real minutes, real development, and real trust. For Kuminga, it means embracing structure, refining his game, and proving that he's ready for more than just flashes. And maybe, just maybe, the standoff-filled offseason becomes the turning point both sides didn't know they needed. Sometimes growth comes not from change, but from tension, from discomfort, from being forced to find common ground. Jonathan Kuminga is not the first young talent to navigate this path, and he won't be the last. But his journey at this particular moment in the Warriors' timeline feels especially important. It's the intersection of past glory and future ambition. It's a test for the organization, for the player, and for the system they've built. As the new season approaches, all eyes will be on how Golden State navigates this fragile alliance. Will Kuminga rise to the challenge and carve out his space? Will KERR and the coaching staff adapt their philosophy to unlock a version of him that's consistent and impactful? Will the Warriors front office find the patience to let development breathe in a winnow environment? These are the questions that will define not only Kuminga's year, but possibly the Warriors' next chapter. And the answers, like the best NBA storylines, won't come easily or quickly. They'll unfold possession by possession, minute by minute, until clarity emerges from the noise. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Speculations are swirling in the NBA world after Golden State Warriors head coach Steve Kerr allegedly made a bold statement behind closed doors, sparking a flurry of rumors across the league. Sources close to the team have reported that Kerr, known for his calm demeanor and calculated leadership, may have drawn a definitive line in the sand regarding a particular player. The phrase allegedly uttered by the coach, "he doesn't play for me anymore," has ignited intense debates among analysts and fans alike. Though no official name has been mentioned publicly, insiders suggest that Kerr's frustration reached a boiling point during a recent closed-door meeting at the team's facility. This supposed declaration was reportedly made in response to ongoing disciplinary concerns or philosophical differences with the unnamed player, who some believe may have clashed with the team's culture or failed to meet expectations during the offseason. With training camp looming, whispers within the organization hint at a deepening rift that may result in a dramatic roster shakeup. This unexpected twist in the Warriors' preseason narrative has left many wondering whether this signals a major shift in the team's direction or simply a motivational ploy from a veteran coach eager to set the tone for the upcoming campaign. Rumors are rampant about who the player in question might be, as Kerr's cryptic sentiment, if confirmed, casts a long shadow over the Warriors' preparations. Speculation among league executives and sports insiders has narrowed the potential targets to a handful of players who had turbulent performances or injury setbacks last season. Among them, the most talked about figure is a player whose minutes and consistency dwindled notably during the playoff stretch, leading many to believe he may have lost favor with the coaching staff. Some reporters suggest that tension began to build when the player, reportedly dissatisfied with his role, became more vocal behind the scenes, challenging Kerr's decisions and system. Others argue that off-court distractions, including contract disputes or conflicts with teammates, may have contributed to Kerr's supposed stance. Regardless of the actual cause, what's clear is that something significant may be brewing inside the Warriors camp. While the team has yet to issue a public comment, fans are already dissecting the team's training camp roster for clues. The idea of KERR, a coach known for his diplomacy and adaptability, taking such a firm position, adds an unexpected layer of drama to a franchise that has prided itself on unity and professionalism. The timing of this controversy couldn't be more intriguing given the Warriors' ongoing efforts to retool their roster for another title run. Over the summer, the front office made several strategic moves to balance veteran leadership with youthful energy, aiming to prolong the championship window while preparing for a post-Stephen Curry era. Within this context, the alleged fallout between KERR and a yet-to-be-identified player raises pressing questions about team chemistry and long-term plans. If indeed KERR has decided that a certain player no longer fits into his vision, it could signal more than just personal conflict. It might reflect broader organizational shifts toward a new identity. Some believe the coaching staff has grown weary of internal disruptions and is drawing firmer boundaries as part of a cultural reset.